Way back in 2019, an Air Jordan 1 High OG released in what is known as the Obsidian colorway, a stupid fresh looking sneaker if you ask me. I was unable to grab a pair myself. However, fast forward to today, 2025, the time has come. And plus they're my favorite version yet, the lows. Oh yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown of these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Nothing truly OG about them. Now this is the box. I would say that it's nothing special or fancy, which it isn't, but if you're comparing it to what the original high top version came in, it is a little bit. The original high top came in just a standard Air Jordan 1 box, the black and red variety, whereas nowadays they actually kind of like customize the box to match the shoes, which I think is pretty dope. Now this is something that the brand has been doing over the past 1.5 years, 2 years maybe, where they've been taking really popular high top colorways, chopping them down and re-releasing them into lows, and some people are really not into this, but I personally am. Not only did I miss out on the majority of those high tops, because that's when the Air Jordan 1 hype was at like an all-time, really for no good reason. It's not like this shoe hasn't been around since, what, 1985? Touché. In 2025, things are clearly different. Not only has the hype subsided, which is f***ing awesome for actual shoe heads, but with them doing stuff like this, we're able to get the stuff that we may have missed. But yeah, this might be my favorite of the high to low transitions so far, even though I did really like when they took these guys right here and they chopped them down to lows. That was pretty recent too. And I do really love what they did with the Rookie of the Years. These are f***ing awesome. But like I said before, this specific colorway is one that I've wanted for a long time, and now I have them. Now, much like any other Air Jordan 1, at least of the non-85 variety, they have the greatest traction of all time, and while it looks almost identical to that 85 version, it is slightly different. So is the cupsole. The cupsole is probably one of the most notable changes, at least in my opinion, just because these are just straight. These are like the majority of the retros ever since 1994, whereas the 85 versions of the retros are supposed to be built as close to the 85 version of the shoe as possible, so they did have a different style of cupsole. However, the tech specs are still almost the same. So in addition to the rubber cupsole, there is a polyurethane wedge in the heel, and then encapsulated within that wedge is an air sole unit. You cannot feel it, but it is in there, hence them being called the Air Jordan. Something that's missing compared to an 85 cut version is that board last that is the OG torsion support. These don't have that. These just have a standard strobel, so there's nothing really special about them. You can twist these things up and all of that stuff, and they're not for performance, so I understand why they're not there. The insole is Dreamcell. Not really my favorite insole, but you could take that thing out and swap it out for anything else that you'd like. So if you did want some torsion support, you can drop in a Move Game Day or Game Day Pro, or if you just wanted a better regular insole, you can go with the Move Baseline. Or if you happen to wear something else, an orthotic perhaps, you can put that in there too. Now these do have the pre-vintaged cupsole and stuff like that. It does not bother me just because it does match the upper a little bit. The white panels are not exactly white. They are in off-white or a cream, or what Nike and Jordan would call sail. Ooh. Now, as far as the leather is concerned, well, I'm not going to say that these are identical to the high top counterparts just because it would be damn near impossible to source the same exact stuff that they did way back in 2019. Is it close though? Yes, it is. Is it close enough? I think so. I think that these feel great. I don't really have anything to complain about, to be honest. I think that the textures look good. They're very thin cuts of leather. Not super thin, but they are thin. They're also very soft, so if you're looking at them sideways, they may crease, so glare accordingly. I personally really just love the colorway. I love really anything UNC related. Like, this is such a pretty look. Just look at the tongue tab. Look at that thing. You can't tell me that that's not pretty. I mean, you can, but I don't believe you. They do come equipped with 2 sets of laces. One is Obsidian, and that is already kind of like ready to go inside the shoe. You just got to finish lacing them up. The other one comes in this box. I'm not sure which one I like most. I think they both look great. It would have been nice if they came with a third option, that UNC, but I think that that would have like overdone the UNC look. I really like when it's subtle like this. The logos are a little small. That does include the swoosh on the side panels. That swoosh, however, is actual leather, unlike the 85 cuts, which are synthetic, much like the original from 1985. The rear wing Wings logo is slightly different as well. Definitely much smaller, but it's still pretty, so it's awesome. Now, as far as fit is concerned, you could do one of two things. You can go true to size. Wide footers, I would recommend going true to size. I think that that would be the best option, especially once they break in. For people with thin or narrow feet, you might want to consider going down half a size. They'll be very tight at first, but once you break them in, they'll fit perfectly 1-to-1. If you're struggling and not sure which size to get, just go true to size. You should be safe with that. They will be available locally here in the Sacramento and Elk Grove area, and they'll be retailing over at Phenom. They're going to be available at both locations, the Elk Grove store, which is freshly reopened, as well as their Doco location. If you wanted to know about launch procedures, all you got to do is follow them on social, simply at Phenom Global. But anyways, with all of that being said, what is today's question, user submitted by the way, of the day?
Jordan had the flu game 12s, or as we all now know, it was more food poisoning.
Even though he said that, some people still question that. I don't know what it would be.
I don't know. What 3 shoes would you consider the Chris flu games?
What?
And they said, if you happen to play with the flu. I'm thinking of it more as like, what 3 shoes would you say? Because a shoe immediately comes to mind, not that you were sick, but like something crazy happened.
Oh, so something significant?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Are they the flight posits? The blue and orange ones?
That's not cool, man.
I know, but that is something.
That's not cool.
It's up there.
No, because I could not keep playing.
I know.
That took me out for a year.
I know.
I tore my calf in those.
I know.
The flu game is triumphant.
No, this is just part
the flight posit story is sad.
This is just part of your lore.
I suppose.
So I would put that down as one of your shoes.
It wasn't the shoe's fault, by the way.
I know, it wasn't the shoe's fault. Well, for the flu game 12s, it was like...
Well, yeah, the flu game didn't spit on his pizza.
I'm just saying, like, those shoes are part of Michael Jordan's history.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Shoe,
I see what you're saying.
The flight posit is part of your history.
Yes, unfortunately, because I love the flight posits.
Okay.
I don't know, like, what do I do anything spectacular?
You are spectacular.
No. Look. Don't bullshit me. I mean, maybe if you want to be cute with it.
I do, always.
You can be like the Air Jordan 2009.
Because they put you
Because
on
it's
the
the first performance review on YouTube.
Okay.
Like as far as basketball shoes go, might be of any footwear product. I'm not actually sure. I do know it's the first performance review for basketball in video form. Without that video, there are no. Am I saying that there would never? No, I'm just saying without that one, there would be no, like, I came first, there you go. So yeah, so I suppose I would throw that in there. I might throw in not the most recent Cool Gray 11s, but the one before that, because that was the one where I bought an early release and then I got a real pair, like a retail pair. And then I was just sitting in the shoe room, like where I would film and stuff, and the boxes were literally like stacked next to each other. And just little things were off. Like the color was a little off, the fonts were barely different. Like it was just little things. And like I was just sitting there like being like, is one of these fake? And so I grabbed the early release pair. I ended up cutting them up. And they were fake. And so I made a video about that, which is no longer on the channel. It is still over on the Sneaker Files channel because I used to work over at that blog. And a lot of people in the YouTube space were flagging that video because a lot of us bought early releases from the same place to get reviews out early, but I was the only one that like figured it out. And like, I was like, this is not cool. So yeah, so I felt like my integrity was on the line, being like, I'm not trying to promote like you buying them from here just because if you want them early, but they're not even real. Like you're paying over retail for some bootlegs, like really good bootlegs, but still. So like I was the one that like blew the whistle.
Right, you let everybody know like, hey, we're all getting scammed.
Right, and yeah, and there was lots of people that do what I do that were f***ing mad at me. I think that's weird because it's just like, homie, you got scammed too. Like, why aren't you mad? It was a fucking mess, dude. Like, so I would say that those 3, I suppose, shoes, I would not consider the flight pod. That's not a good one.
It is part of your lore. You had to like take a step back.
That's a nightmare scenario.
Back. I was surprised. I thought you were going to include those I believe they were Kobe's, where you had ended up with a big strain. Like I was thinking more of like physical.
That's the same day.
No.
Yeah, I wore the Kobe. I wore that shoe in the morning, and then I got invited. Yes, to practice. No. Listen, I got invited to practice that evening. I didn't want to go because I was tired. I had already played for 3 hours that morning, and you said go build team chemistry because we're in the league. And so I was just like, fine. And so I didn't want to wear the same shoe, so I took a different pair with me, and I overused my legs because that's what I do, and my fucking calf tore.
pause. I'm going back to before we even owned a house and you had.
Oh, you're talking about the Kobe 5s where I
Yes.
fractured my shins?
Yes.
Yeah, that sucked too. That is also an overuse. I was playing 7 days a week.
Yes.
I was playing everywhere and anywhere. People would be like, you want to come hoop? And I'd be like, sure. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'd play all the time. And then it got to a point where I couldn't walk. It felt like my skin was being ripped off of the front of my legs.
Yeah.
And so I saw the doctor and they x-rayed and they were just like, bro, you need to take a break. I had stress fractures all the way down my tibias. This is before, I can't remember his name. It was like Anthony Ware or something like that. He was a college athlete and he broke his leg on TV from that same thing. And I was like, what the, like, that's what I avoided. And so I just felt like grateful, but yeah. But still, tragic. I wouldn't even consider that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, we took the question in 2 different directions.
Yes,
And I feel
triumphant, scary as
But did you die?
If you guys, I'm gonna put this on you guys now. If you're gonna pick 3 scenarios in your life, do they have to be sports related?
I would say they don't have
Because I don't
to
think,
be.
yeah, mine weren't, right?
No.
Not really, or I mean kind of, but not really. So yeah, they don't have to be sports related, but 3 scenarios in your life. What shoe were you wearing and what was the moment that you were wearing that shoe in that makes it your flu game? On top of all of that, sound off below and let us know what you think about these in the comment section. Are you glad to see them back? Are you glad to see them back as a low top instead of a high? Or would you rather that they did re-release but as highs? Sound off below, let us know. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for spending your time with us. We greatly appreciate it, especially if you're still here. I really f with you guys. You guys are awesome. With that being said, we will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.